You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're not incapable. You're just using the wrong system. And while you're spinning your wheels, exhausting yourself with endless to-do lists, and wondering why nothing ever gets done, the top CEOs in America are getting more accomplished before lunch than most people do in a week. What do they know that you don't? What system are they using that makes everything look so effortless? Stay with me, because I'm about to show you the exact framework that separates the ones who dominate from the ones who just survive. And I promise you, it's not what you think. Right now, you're probably drowning in tasks. You've got a million things pulling at your attention. Your phone is buzzing. Your email is overflowing. There's always something urgent demanding your time. And at the end of every day, you collapse into bed wondering where all the hours went. You worked hard. You were busy. But somehow, the things that actually matter, the things that would move your life forward, they never got done. Sound familiar? That's because being busy and being productive are two completely different things. And the CEOs figured this out a long time ago. They stopped trying to do everything and started doing the only things that count. Before we go any further, I need you to do something. If this is already hitting home, if you're tired of spinning your wheels and ready for something different, hit that like button right now. Not because I need it, but because you need to commit. That small action tells your brain you're serious. And subscribe to this channel, because what I'm sharing with you today is just the beginning. There's so much more you need to know, and I'm going to keep showing up with the truth. But you've got to show up too. Here's what nobody tells you about productivity. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less. I know that sounds backwards. I know every productivity guru out there is selling you some system to cram more into your day, to optimize every minute, to hustle harder. But that's not what the CEOs are doing. They're doing the opposite. They're ruthlessly eliminating everything that doesn't directly contribute to their biggest goals. They're saying no to almost everything, so they can say yes to the few things that actually move the needle. And that's the first shift you need to make. You need to stop trying to do it all and start being brutally honest about what actually matters. Think about your typical day. How much of what you do is actually important? How much of it is just noise? How much time do you spend on things that feel productive, but don't actually get you closer to where you want to be? The truth is, most of what we do every day is a waste of time. We just can't see it because we're too busy doing it. The CEOs can see it. They've trained themselves to spot the difference between motion and progress, between activity and achievement, between being busy and being effective. And once you learn to see it too, everything changes. So here's the system. It's simple. Almost too simple. Which is why most people won't do it. They'll think it can't possibly work because it's not complicated enough. But that's exactly why it does work. The system has 3 parts. First, every single day, you identify the one thing that matters most. Not 3 things, not 5 things. One thing. The one task that, if you completed it, would make everything else easier or unnecessary. Second, you protect the first 3 hours of your day for that one thing. No meetings, no emails, no distractions, just you and that task. Third, everything else comes after. And if you don't get to it, it didn't matter anyway. Let me say that again because it's critical. If you don't get to it, it didn't matter anyway. That's the mindset shift that changes everything. Most people treat every task like it's urgent, like it all has to get done. But the truth is, most of it doesn't. Most of what fills your day is just filler. It's busy work dressed up as important. And when you start operating from this system, when you start putting your one thing first, you realize how much of your old routine was just keeping you from what you should have been doing all along. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but I have a job, I have responsibilities, I can't just ignore everything else. And you're right. But here's what the CEOs understand that you don't yet. When you nail your one thing, when you consistently show up and complete the task that actually moves your life forward, everything else falls into place. You get better results, you gain more respect, you create more value. And suddenly, all those other tasks either take care of themselves or you realize they never needed to be done in the first place. The system doesn't make you less responsible, it makes you more effective. Right now, I need you to think about what your one thing is. What's the task that, if you did it every single day for the next 90 days, would completely transform your life? What's the thing you keep putting off because it's hard, because it's uncomfortable, because there's always something more urgent? Drop it in the comments right now. Tell me what your one thing is, because when you name it, when you put it out there, you're making it real. You're committing to it. And if you know someone who's stuck, someone who's working hard but going nowhere, share this video with them. They need to hear this today. Let's talk about why this system works when everything else fails. It works because it aligns with how your brain actually functions. Your brain has a limited amount of willpower and decision-making energy every day. And most people waste all of it on things that don't matter. They wake up and immediately start making 100 tiny decisions. What to wear, what to eat, which email to answer first. And by the time they get to the work that actually matters, they're already exhausted. The CEOs flip this. They simplify everything else so they can pour all their energy into the one thing that counts. They wear the same thing every day. They eat the same breakfast. They eliminate decisions wherever possible because they know that their mental energy is their most valuable resource and they refuse to waste it. This is where most people fail. They try to be productive all day long. They try to maintain peak performance from morning to night, and it's impossible. You can't sustain that. The CEOs know they have about 3 to 4 hours of high-quality thinking time each day. That's it. And they guard those hours like their life depends on it. Because it does. Their success, their income, their impact, it all comes down to what they do in those few precious hours. Everything else is just maintenance. Everything else can be delegated, automated, or eliminated. But those 3 hours, that's where the magic happens. That's where fortunes are built. So here's what you're going to do differently, starting tomorrow. You're going to identify your one thing tonight. Before you go to bed, you're going to write it down. And when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you look at email, before you do anything else, you're going to work on that one thing for 3 hours. No exceptions, no negotiations. 3 hours of deep, focused work on the only task that matters. And after those 3 hours, you can do whatever else needs to be done. But you'll be amazed at how much less urgent everything else feels when you've already won the day. But here's the challenge, and this is where most people quit. The first week is going to feel strange. You're going to feel guilty for ignoring other things. You're going to feel anxious about emails piling up. You're going to want to check your phone. You're going to convince yourself that this one little interruption won't hurt. And that's where you lose. That's where you go back to being busy instead of productive. The CEOs push through that discomfort. They've learned to sit with the anxiety of letting things wait. They've learned that the world doesn't fall apart when they protect their focus time. And actually, the opposite happens. Things get better. Because when you're operating at your highest level, when you're completing work that actually matters, everything else becomes easier. Let me tell you what happens when you commit to this system for 30 days. The first week, you're adjusting. You're fighting your old habits. You're learning to protect your time. It's hard. The second week, you start to see results. You start to notice that you're making real progress on things that have been stuck for months. You start to feel different, more confident, more capable. The third week, people around you start to notice. Your work improves, your energy changes, opportunities start showing up. And by the fourth week, you can't believe you ever worked any other way. This becomes your new normal. And once it does, there's no going back. But you have to be ruthless. You have to be willing to disappoint people in the short term to become the person you're meant to be in the long term. You have to be willing to say no to good things so you can say yes to great things. You have to be willing to let some balls drop so you can catch the ones that actually matter. This is what separates the CEOs from everyone else. They're not trying to please everyone. They're not trying to do it all. They're laser focused on the outcome they want, and they're willing to sacrifice everything else to get there. And here's something powerful that happens when you operate this way. You stop feeling overwhelmed. Because when you know exactly what matters, when you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, there's no confusion. There's no anxiety about whether you're working on the right thing. You know you are. And that certainty, that clarity, it's like a superpower. It allows you to move through your day with confidence and purpose. While everyone else is scattered and stressed, you're calm and focused. While everyone else is reacting, you're creating. While everyone else is busy, you're building something that lasts. Now, let's talk about the biggest lie you've been told about time management. You've been told that if you just organize better, if you just plan better, if you just try harder, you'll get everything done. But that's not true. You'll never get everything done. There will always be more tasks, more emails, more meetings, more demands on your time. The list never ends. And the people who keep trying to get it all done, they burn out. They exhaust themselves, chasing a finish line that doesn't exist. The CEOs understand that the goal isn't to get everything done. The goal is to get the right things done. And once you shift to that mindset, the pressure lifts. You stop drowning in your to-do list and start dominating your priorities. This system isn't just about work, it's about life. When you apply this to your health, you identify the one thing that would make the biggest difference. Maybe it's working out every morning. Maybe it's meal prepping on Sundays. Whatever it is, you do that one thing consistently, and everything else about your health improves. When you apply this to your relationships, you identify the one thing that matters most. Maybe it's being present when you're with your family. Maybe it's having a weekly date night. You protect that one thing, and your relationships transform. This system works for everything because the principle is universal. Focus creates results. Dilution creates frustration. Right now, I want you to think about all the time you've wasted, all the hours you've spent on things that didn't matter, all the energy you've poured into tasks that didn't move you forward. Think about where you could be if you had known this system a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I'm trying to wake you up, because you can't get that time back, but you can change what you do with the time you have left. You can stop wasting today, you can start winning today, and it all begins with one decision. The decision to stop doing everything and start doing the one thing that matters. If you're still watching, if you haven't scrolled away, that tells me something. That tells me you're different. That tells me you're ready. Most people would have quit by now. Most people would have gone back to their comfort zone, back to their busy but unproductive routine. But you're still here, which means you're ready to change. So prove it. Drop a comment right now telling me you're committing to this system. Tell me you're going to identify your one thing and protect your 3 hours. Make that declaration. Put it in writing. Because when you do, you're not just telling me, you're telling yourself. You're making a promise, and that promise is the beginning of everything. The CEOs didn't get where they are by working harder than everyone else. They got there by working smarter. They got there by being selective. They got there by understanding that time is the only resource you can never get more of, so you better use it on things that count. And now you know their secret. Now you have the same system they use. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to go back to your old ways, or are you going to become someone different? Here's what I know about you. I know you're capable of so much more than what you're currently doing. I know you have dreams you've pushed aside because you're too busy with everything else. I know you have potential you haven't tapped into because you're spreading yourself too thin. And I know that if you commit to this system, if you give it everything you have for the next 30 days, your life will look completely different. You'll make more progress in the next month than you have in the last year. Not because you're working more, but because you're working right. But I also know something else. I know that most people won't do this. They'll watch this video. They'll nod along. They'll agree with everything I'm saying, and then they'll go right back to their old patterns. They'll tell themselves they'll start next week. They'll convince themselves that their situation is different. They'll find a reason why this won't work for them. And a year from now, they'll still be in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Don't be that person. Don't let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the moment everything shifted. The system is simple. One thing, 3 hours, every day, that's it. No complicated planners, no fancy apps, no elaborate strategies. Just brutal focus on what matters most. And when you do this consistently, when you make it non-negotiable, you become unstoppable. You become the person who gets things done while everyone else is still trying to figure out where to start. You become the person who achieves more in a month than others do in a year. You become the person who lives the life everyone else wishes they had. And here's the final truth I promised you. The truth that ties everything together. The truth the CEOs know that changes everything. You don't need more time. You never did. You need more focus. You need more clarity. You need more courage to do what matters and let everything else go. Time was never the problem. How you've been using it was the problem. And now that you know better, now that you have the system, you have no more excuses. The only question left is whether you're brave enough to use it, whether you're willing to be different, whether you're ready to stop wasting time and start building the life you actually want. So here's your moment. Here's your choice. You can close this video and go back to being busy, or you can commit right now to trying this system for 30 days. You can identify your one thing, you can protect your 3 hours, you can see what happens when you finally focus on what matters. The CEOs made their choice. They chose focus over chaos. They chose results over busyness. They chose to stop wasting time. Now it's your turn. If this message resonated with you, if something clicked while you were watching, I need you to do 3 things before you leave. First, smash that like button. Show me you're ready to change. Second, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep bringing you the strategies that actually work, the systems that actually create results, the truth that actually sets you free. And third, comment below with your one thing. Tell me what you're going to focus on. Tell me what you're going to protect. Make that commitment public. And if you know someone who's working hard but going nowhere, someone who needs to hear this today, share this video with them right now. Don't wait. They need this. And don't miss what's coming next. I'm going to keep giving you the tools, the mindset, the systems you need to win. But you have to stay connected. You have to keep showing up. So subscribe and comment. Your future self will thank you.